Okay, next I'm gonna take a little bit of my Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation in the shade R230, which means red. So like I have red undertones, and you can tell by looking at your veins. And I'm gonna put a little bit on my beauty blender just for a little bit of coverage. And I'm gonna bounce it in. Okay, now that my foundation is all blended in, I'm gonna take a little bit of concealer. I have one that's a little bit lighter. It's the e.l.f. concealer. As you can see, I really like it. So I'm almost out. I'm gonna put it under my eyes. Just a little bit. I'm gonna do that under both eyes. And then I have another concealer that you don't have to use two, but I like to use two, because this one gives a little bit more coverage. It's the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer, and I'm in the shade Vanilla. And I put this a little bit further down, very lightly. You don't need very much. And on any trouble spots. So like I have a couple on my forehead. Anywhere that the foundation didn't cover that you would like a little bit more coverage. And then you just blend it in. And I like to use my beauty blender when I blend it on my face. But then when I blend it under my eyes more, closer to under my eyes, I like to use my brush so I can get right up in there. See, just don't push very hard because your under your eyes are your most sensitive part of the skin. And you just get it right up in there and done. Okay, now that I have my foundation, my concealer, and my moisturizer done, I'm gonna take a little bit of my bronzer just to add a little bit of color in the face. I like to use the Butter Bronzer. It's really great. It smells a little bit like coconuts, and it just adds a really nice color. And then I'm just taking a brush from my Morphe brush set, and I take it right here. So you can see right where your ear, right there. Put a little bit there, and a little bit here, right at the jawline, not too much, because you don't want it to be like a line. And I take a little bit around my forehead, and this just adds a little bit of shade. I also like to dip my brush in my bronzer and just go over my nose ever so gently so you don't get too much color, but it just adds a very nice contour almost, just makes it the same color. And I'm also going to do a little bit of blush. I'm going to use another one of my Morphe brushes and my Milani brush in the color Luminoso. I'm just going to tap it in there and tap a little bit off, and then just smile in. Just a little swipe of color. And you really don't want very much. Just adds a little bit of color, and if you want it to be a little bit more natural, you can take a little bit on the tip of your nose for a little color, and a little bit on your chin right there. And it just makes it look really natural, almost like no makeup. Right, this is an optional step. I mean, all of them are optional, but for a little bit extra something, I'm just gonna put a little bit of color on my eyelids. And I don't really want to use eyeshadow today, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of bronzer. You can use any bronzer, but I'm gonna use the Urban Decay Naked Skin Shape Shifter. This is really cool because it has some creams, color correcting, highlighter, and a concealer, and a contour. And it also has powder. So these are like bronzers or contour shades, a setting powder, and a highlighter. I'm just gonna take a really fluffy brush, tap it off to make sure nothing's on it, and dip into the lighter of the two, and just wash it over my eyes in the crease. So your crease is right here. I just wanna blend it in, barely any color on the brush. This is to contour your eyes. You always want to put the darker colors out here on the outer corner. And as you get farther in, closer to your inner corner, you're going to put the lighter shades. And then you're going to do the other eye just the same. Just in the crease and on the outer corner, just like so. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the darkest shade, very little, and just put it ever so slightly on the outside. Just like that. Not even in the crease, just right here. The key to this is a very light touch and a lot of blending. You can blend it inward like this a little bit to get a more gradual line. Blend it up. And I'm actually going to take another brush that doesn't have any product on it and just blend it to make sure it's very smoothly blended. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to take this step, very, very optional. I decided to do it though. I'm going to take a little bit of this shade. It's a highlighter, which means you put it right here. And I'm going to put it right on my eyelid, just in the center here, closer to the inner corner for a little bit of color. Okay, you can also take your highlight shade with either a fluffy brush or a smaller brush. Generally, smaller brushes work better, but if you only have a fluffy brush, it'll work. You just put it right at the tops of your cheekbones, just like that. There you go. And a teeny bit more, and you squeeze it and put it right on the tip of your nose. Just like that. A little bit right here. This is called your Cupid's bow. Put a little bit there. And voila! There's your eyeshadow. To finish this up, I'm going to use a little bit of my mascara. I'm using the Hourglass Caution Extreme Lash Mascara. It's one of my favorites. But if you don't want to get this one, there are many options at the drugstore. And I just take it up through the root to the end. I just go over it a couple times on the outside, and then on the inside part, just, there's the first coat, compared to none. Do the other side. You never want to pump your mascara because then it'll let extra air in and it'll dry out faster. You can go in for another dip and then do the inside. And then I'm going to go in for another coat now that it's dried a little bit. You know, everybody has that mascara face. Don't be ashamed. And there you go. There's your everyday makeup look. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell. I'll put it right here for post notifications so you always know when my videos are. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!